Welcome to 𝗩𝗲𝗋◄◂ where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. If you'd like to support my show and get help growing your houseplants, check out my Patreon below. Today we have a plant care video for Algerian Ivy, botanically known as Hedera algeriensis. This eye-catching plant is native to coastal mountains in Algeria and the North African coast. While ivy can often be difficult to grow indoors, Algerian ivy is one of the easier selections to grow as a houseplant. In fact, some of the smaller-leaved Algerian ivies are used for topiary. Outdoors, this species of ivy can be invasive in some climates and reach as far as 80 feet long. Indoors, however, it is much tamer. While it will grow tall like this plant and will also trail, it won't grow anywhere near as long as it will outdoors. The fact that this plant is such an aggressive grower outdoors is likely the reason it is one of the easier ivies to grow indoors. Keep the following growing tips in mind and you'll have luck growing this beauty as a house plant. Lighting. Algerian ivy prefers bright, indirect light. While you can maintain the plant, in lower light conditions, the growth will be slow and it will be more likely to attract pests and diseases. Place the plant in an area that gets good lighting, such as in front of an unobstructed eastern window or 2 to 3 feet from a southern window. Northern windows don't provide enough light. If you lack enough light in your home, these plants also do well under full spectrum lighting. Avoid putting the plants close to southern or western windows as too much direct light will burn the foliage. And I do have videos on what burned foliage looks like on some houseplants. I will put a link below for those as well as any other videos I mentioned in this video. Okay, so watering for Algerian ivy. The plant should be watered when the top 1 to 2 inches of soil has dried out or the moisture meter reads 4 when inserted 1/3 of the way into the pot. Ivy can easily be killed by root rot from too much water, but you don't want to let the plants grow dry as that will lead to leaf loss and dry, crispy leaves. So it's really a balance with ivy. With this ivy, as well as all ivies when growing them indoors, the watering is a real balance, and improper watering is usually the reason why people fail with growing ivy indoors. Always use warm water when watering Algerian ivy and all of your houseplants. If you do drought your Algerian ivy and it loses a bunch of leaves, you can cut the plant back. However, I would suggest when you do that to also pot down the plant into a smaller pot, because you do not want to have too much pot and very little plant up above when you're done. So that is something to keep in mind, and I do have a video on down potting as well, which I will link, which will give you further information on that. Okay, fertilizing. Fertilize Algerian ivy monthly, spring through fall, with an organic fertilizer. Chemical fertilizers are way too harsh for this plant and many houseplants, and I generally don't recommend them. Don't fertilize in the winter months when the plant slows down growth. Humidity. While the Algerian ivy does prefer a humid environment like many indoor grown ivies, it can tolerate average humidity, which is a big thing for ivies. So it will do well between 45 to 55%. If your indoors is drier than that, for the best growth, provide extra humidity, such as a humidity tray and misting. You could also, if you have very low humidity, even consider a humidifier. And I have a video on using humidifiers as well as a playlist, actually a whole playlist on increasing humidity. Also keep in mind that grouping plants leads to higher humidity because plants transpire. When they transpire, they emit water vapor into the air, which humidifies the air, and as such, the plants will be humidifying each other. So the more ivies and other plants in your houseplant collection, the better in terms of raising humidity. You can use a hygrometer, which I have videos on as well, and that will tell you the humidity level in your home so that you can determine if you need to add extra humidity for your Algerian ivy. Okay, temperature. Algerian ivy is fairly tolerant of temperatures. It will thrive between 60 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and it will tolerate below 60 degrees Fahrenheit for short periods of time. Avoid putting the plant, however, in front of heating or air conditioning vents, as that will dry out the leaves and the plant won't be too happy with you. Okay, repotting Algerian ivy. It should be repotted when it has surpassed my rule of thumb, which is 2/3 plant on top, 1/3 pot below. I will link videos on that as well. So you want what you want when you're looking at the combination is there's 2/3 plant to 1/3 pot below. When it's a vining plant, you kind of have to eyeball it a little bit to see if that's the case. But once you have a lot more plant than pot, that's when it's time to pot up to just 1 pot size larger. And repot just spring through midsummer. Don't repot in the cold months of the year. Use a high quality organic potting soil with added drainage such as pumice or perlite when you do repot. Pruning. If you'd like to keep your Algerian ivy more compact rather than trailing, prune off the ends of the vines back to a set of leaves. This will cause the plant to branch more and become bushier. Pests and diseases. Root rot can occur if you overwater. Algerian ivy is also susceptible to spider mites. Treat spider mites with insecticidal soap and keep the area around the plant humid, as spider mites thrive in dry conditions. So the more humidity you have, the less likely you are to have spider mites or as much of a problem with them. So there you go for how to keep this beautiful plant healthy and happy in your indoor garden. Thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And please check the bell if you'd like to be notified when new videos are released.